News 13 Australia presents Update 1 on ex-tropical Cyclone Fili as it approaches New Zealand and in particular Gisborne, actually drawing away from that area now on April 13th, 2022. It has brought some very destructive conditions ashore. Here's a look at our weather risk outlook for the April 13th, 2022. You can see Fili just offshore from Gisborne with extreme risk of severe weather over the mountainous terrain near Gisborne with heavy rainfall. Totals amassing 300 millimetres of rain over the past 24 hours, and those high risks of severe weather extending as far south as Wellington and also in the more mountainous terrain of the central northern island. You'll be seeing moderate risk of severe weather, which basically is another way of saying that the chances of severe weather at this time are very high over the northern island of New Zealand. The Met Service from New Zealand at 12 p.m. New Zealand time has issued a red heavy rain warning. Expect a further 150 to 200 millimetres of rain to accumulate on top of what has already fallen. Peak rates of 10 to 20 millimetres per hour, but 25 to 40 millimetre per hour is likely in localised places this afternoon on Wednesday, associated with thunderstorms. And this is for Gisborne and surrounds and the Warra district extending down to Napier and inland into the more mountainous terrain. Now we've also got a strong wind warning, an orange strong wind warning at that, with severe south to southwest gales gusting to 120 to 130 kilometres an hour on exposed and elevated terrain. Strong wind gusts could damage trees, power lines and unsecured structures, and driving may be hazardous, especially for high-sided vehicles and motorcycles. And the affected locations will be Gisborne and surrounds, Hawke's Bay and the southeast of Tupu, including higher parts of the Desert Road. And we've also got a strong wind watch, with southerly winds may approach severe and to gale force in exposed places at times, which includes Wellington and the Horawea Kapiti coast, Turanika about the northern side of the mountain, Tumari, Togarino National Park, and the remainder of Tupu not under warning, and I do apologise if I've butchered any of those names. And we've got a heavy rain watch too, although not a warnable amount of rain is no longer expected. A watch will be maintained for this area, which does include Hawke's Bay, excluding the Warra district, as that is currently under a heavy rain warning for red. Here's a look at the severe weather outlook for 13th of April 2022, with the impact potential being extreme and our confidence right now being right up quite high as well. We're definitely confident in this panning out to be a major flooding event, that's for sure, around the Gisborne and Motu sort of area, with Gisborne under an extreme risk of severe weather with a 100% chance of wind and rainfall exceeding severe criteria, and also damaging swell, something we haven't been talking about. Wave heights offshore could be reaching 6 metres in height, that's close to 20 feet. And a bunch of other locations around the Northern Island as well, expecting severe threats of severe weather, up towards high and moderate chances of severe weather as you go down towards Wellington, Auckland, Akito and New Plymouth, and Christchurch under a low chance of severe weather at this time. Rainfall certainly the main threat from this system, as ex-tropical Cyclone Fili has brought widespread dangerous conditions to the eastern New Zealand shorelines, especially around the Gisborne area. Flooding rainfall is expected, along with locally destructive to damaging wind gusts and heavy swells, and you can see the warning zones on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. The New Zealand Met Service has red warnings out left, right and centre, orange warnings out where there's no red warnings, and also those yellow watches in effect for a large proportion of the Northern Island. Let's take a look at the radar imagery right now. The Gisborne, Napier area of rainfall basically covering the majority of the eastern parts of the North Island. You can see Fili just bringing a thick stream of rainfall ashore, with rainfall totals in those blues and greens approaching 40 millimetres per hour in places. However, a little bit of good news, Fili is drawing away from the New Zealand coastline at this time, so rainfall will really only be at this rate for the next 6 hours. However, the flooding emergency will continue for at least the next 24 as river catchments top themselves up as they flow down towards the ocean. Let's have a little look at satellite imagery right now. I have to admit, Fili was looking a lot better about 12 hours ago, but again, it is a dying system drawing away. It really got very close to making that landfall on New Zealand It might have actually done that. We'll have to be checking pressure observations as time goes on, but intense convection blew up just before it made that landfall, then really rapidly died off, and then the storm started to pull it away from it with some nice cloud pulling ashore that very heavy rainfall that we've seen between the locations of Napier and Gisborne. And that rainfall will, like I said, continue for at least another 6 hours or so before it starts to ease off. That's the latest that Force 13 Australia and Oceania has on Ex-Tropical Cyclone Fili. You can stay up to date with the YouTube channel, Force 13 Australia. You're probably already there. Please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Follow us on Twitter as well for the latest information around the Oceania region. Check out our website and track tropical cyclones with us there live, force13.com, all in text. Join the Discord server, discord.gg/force13. Great chat to be having over there. And support us on Patreon and Teespring, force13.com and patreon.com/force13. Buy some merch. I have to say, there's some pretty good merchandise that you can get on the Force 13 Teespring store. So I would recommend going over there and checking some of that out. Thank you very much for watching this update brought to you by Force 13 Australia, and we'll catch you all in the next storm. Goodbye.